welcome to Company Habit number 2. I'm James Williams Jr. And sadly, I even more feel like I have to throw up now. Okay, so in the 3 or 4 videos you see before this, I use a multiple conglomerate of weapons. So the last thing I did was my hands bound. In no circumstances in your life will this ever happen to you. It's fun for training, it's fun for the movies, it's fun letting me let you know that training with your hands bound can be done. Do I recommend this shit? No. I do it because I've been training with my hands tied since I was 12 fucking years old. Should you do that? No. Especially if you haven't been training in martial arts at all. And if you have been training in martial arts and your teacher has taught you to fight like this, you have an awesome ass teacher. Okay? It's not for everybody. As you can see in my other videos, I screwed up a few times. Damn near went down. Luckily, by the grace of God, I have excellent balance. So the trick to fighting with your hands tied is it's better to fight with your hands tied in front versus in back. So for those who are new, or if you haven't seen me do this on Instagram before, I'm going to give you a rough rundown of this shit. Okay, 1, again, please don't try this at home. 2, I seriously feel like I have to puke. So let's get it on. First, you have to understand that your hands are tied now. They are one hand. They're not 2 anymore. They're 1 working as 1. Alright? So you need to understand your blocks. High left, medium left, low left. High left, medium left with knee, low left. High right, medium right, low right. High right, medium right with knee, low right. Now the reason why I put that knee in there is because if you're coming against someone who's knowing Taekwondo or Muay Thai, they generally have a mid-range kick that's always going for your gut. If not your gut, your ribs, your liver, your kidneys. Your liver's over here, by the way, and your kidneys on both sides. But they're always going to go for one of them. This block is a Muay Thai block. It is specifically designed for that fucking kick or a foot sweep. If someone's doing Kung Fu and they decide to do a front foot sweep, not this foot sweep, not that one, but this one, a front foot sweep. So for the front foot sweep, if you have taken Crane Kung Fu or Crane Karate, this would be your lifting block. And it works better if you step back. Also, if you're taking Praying Mantis, there is a style, I forgot which form, but there is a Praying Mantis where you form here and you're here. Alright? If you haven't taken Praying Mantis, go Google that shit. There is a form. Also depends on who's teaching you Praying Mantis. Now, the reason why I trained with my hands bound was because back in the 70s and 80s, there wasn't a whole lot of limits on what people were willing to train you. Nowadays, you kind of got to be careful because you don't want to train the wrong person with the right shit and make them a very difficult person for you to have to handle later. Alright? Now, all your blocks are always going to be your central line blocks, especially since your hands are tied. So, right front, right left, because your right's blocking. Most people block with their predominant hand. If you're doing Kung Fu or Wing Chun, your predominant hand, you're going to be in a southpaw stance. If you're a left-handed, you're going to be in a normal stance. Understand how that works for Wing Chun? It's always your dominant hand forward, okay? Again, let me stress, depending on what Wing Chun is being taught to you. Because over the damn years and decades, Wing Chun has evolved. So there's more than one Wing Chun, just like there's more than one Wushu, and more than one type of Shaolin Kung Fu, as long as animal styles, etc., etc. So, your Wing Chun or Kung Fu and you're this way, that's why I said right block. Now you can right back block or you can right forward block. Now for Kung Fu, for what I was taught, you don't have to go with this, but this is what I go with. Get to the outside, break, slide, and strike. Alright? Again, your hands are tied, so you need to elevate. So now I'm going to teach you how to evade while your hands are tied, and then we'll move on to a different weapon after I do the back. So, first thing, if you're not a good fighter, this is all you're ever going to need. Your hands are tied, your opponent is coming this way, you want to catch him with an outside to inside crescent kick, not an inside to outside. Inside to outside means you're probably going to have to engage. Outside to inside means you put him in a direction that you want him to go so that you can go in the opposite direction. If you haven't seen this before, welcome to the show. So if you have seen this before, ignore this, fast forward to another part. Anyway, so outside to inside, boom! My enemy is now over that direction. I'm shifting my ass this way and I'm going that way because I am not a good fighter. If I have to do it with my left foot, same concept, same thing applies. Boom! Now he's over there. Shift, I'm out. Now the reason why I tell you that is because with these inside to outside versus outside to inside to outside only puts him in a position where you will have to engage. Period. No matter how powerful that kick is, if you don't knock him out, your ass is going to engage. If you're not a good fighter, you're probably going to get hurt really, really badly. So this is your inside to outside. Your opponent's right here. You're going to send him further in this direction. Boom. If he stops right here, you're going to have to engage. Your options are limited if you're not a good fighter. If you are a good fighter, you don't need this because you already know what the hell to do. Boom. Front kick there if he's gone down. If he hasn't gone down, you may have a problem. Because that crescent kick is not really a knockout blow. It can knock people out, but it's not a knockout blow like the axe kick. For those who aren't familiar, that is the axe kick. Okay? If you're a Taekwondo specialist, you know all about the axe kick. If you're a Kung Fu specialist, then you know about the axe kick shift to side kick. I will demonstrate if you don't. Axe kick and inside. Your foot does not touch the ground. For those who did not see that from this angle, axe kick, side. Your foot does not touch the ground. Now if you're going to do it karate, your foot does touch the ground. Boom, down, lift, doom. Understand, there's your minor difference. Okay, so we're going to take this off and put it back on backwards. And you're basically going to get a rehashing of everything except for blocking. Okay, I'm going to explain that as I wrap up. Your hands are behind you, so blocking is really not a big option. Simply put, I can't do much like this. This is my range of motion. There's not a lot of blocking I'm going to be doing over here. Not a lot of blocking I'm going to be doing over here. Understand how this works. Again, we're going to do the wrong thing first. We're going to do an inside to outside crescent kick, which means I'm probably going to have to engage. Which means if I'm not a good fighter and my hands are tied behind me, can y'all all say, I am screwed? Repeat after me. I am screwed. Here we go. Inside to outside crescent kick. Boom. As you can see, that wasn't even powerful licking. But that's what it's going to be like because you're going to have to shift your balance to get that kick to even get off. And if it gets off and it nails him but it doesn't do any damage, you're sitting duck. You see how I landed? He's going to be right in this facility, which means I'm screwed, especially if it didn't hurt him. Same thing for the other side. Boom. If he gets right here, I still have to engage. If I hurt him, I may not have to engage, but I have to do a lot of extra work to do this and escape, or to do this and escape. It's a lot of extra work. Now for the correct thing, and again, you don't have to follow my opinion, and that's great, I don't care. It's your life, not mine. But if you're a wise person, you may want to follow my opinion and follow it to the fucking letter. Outside to inside crescent kick is a little bit stronger, especially when your hands is tied. Your balance is already screwed up and your hands is tied behind you, so that makes it even worse. So you want to do an outside to inside crescent kick because it's going to put your opponent in a direction, moving you into the direction that you can escape this person. Understand? The guy's coming at you, I want him over there. So I'm going to use my left foot. Now, I hit him, he's over there. I shift my ass cheeks this way, and I'm out. There's no questions on where I have to go unless that way was my only exit. Then I just fucked myself. So, to prevent that, let's say that way is my only exit. I'm going to use my right foot outside to inside crescent kick. Ooh. Now he's over there. Shift my ass cheeks this way. I'm already 5,000. It's really not that difficult of a concept when you think about it. Should you try this shit? Hell no. And if you haven't been taught any martial arts, definitely not. Now, these will be great for movie purposes. If you want to make a movie and you have a good stunt team, they can make sure you don't fall, make sure you don't break your fucking leg when you're doing this shit, or your ass, then you're good to go. Okay? So we're going to move on to the next thing. We're going to go with the mighty nunchucks. You see me show off. So in a real fight, this is what you're not going to do. Okay? You're not going to be doing any of this shit. Not really. This shit here is for form fighting and practice. But I'm going to tell you two truths that everybody who don't use nunchucks don't know. And everybody who do nunchucks should be telling you. When you do this, and this bitch hits something solid, it comes right back. Alright? It comes right back. So if you don't have a good wrist control, when you hit someone, boom, you're more than likely going to hit yourself. So when you strike, you want to follow all the way through. Boom! And you want to go all the way through so that the weapon goes past your leg. Because if you don't, boom, you're done. That will probably only work against men. Okay? But I'm telling you this shit because of this. Woo! 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 Watch the transition. Woo! Watch the transition. Caught in my wrist. Now watch this. I don't give a fuck who you are. You are not going to do that against anyone. You might get it off. You know, you might get one of these things, and if they're scared and they don't know how to fight, you might get them. You might. But in real life, they just take off their shirt and start matching your movements. They match your movements, and they wait till you get that thing around here or up here, and they throw that shirt, you're done. Especially if that motherfucker that you're fighting is an ace, and they know what they're doing. Or better yet, I'll do you one better. You got nunchucks? Be easier to get it out of the bottom. I got nunchucks too. I ain't got but one knot, but that's all I need. And if I'm covered in enough sweat, lick the bottom of that bitch. This is just as effective, if not more effective. And the good thing about this is, if this comes back, it's not going to be as bad as a piece of metal and wood coming back at you. This is fun for training. Fun for practice. You see how that shit just came back? I missed it the wrong way. Boom. This is practical. Somebody puts on nunchucks. Okay, we're good. I got nunchucks too. Because I'm actually a real fighter and a real martial artist. And I've been fighting in the streets before I ever learned martial arts. So you learn how to adapt on the fly. I just showed you how to make a fucking nunchuck. Keep that shit in mind. You are never defenseless even if you are unarmed. If you are trained by the right person. Understand that. If you train by the right person, anything that you touch, except possibly a blade of grass, regardless of the Chinese legend of the Monkey King and the blade of grass. Don't ask. I know a couple of Chinese fairy tales. But regardless of that, anything you touch except for a blade of grass, the shit that grows off the ground that your lawnmower goes over top of. Anything you touch should be usable as a weapon if you are a martial artist. Period. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. So, if you're taking Kenpo, then you know what chobos are, or aka short sticks. You're not going to do this. You guys see me drop these things in those early videos because truth of the matter is, no grip and they slip. That's mine is a taped and bound, and you still saw those things slip out of my hands. So, in a real fight, that ain't happening. So, let's go over your blocks. I didn't do blocks with nunchucks because they're more of a striking weapon, by the way. And if I remember, I'll show you at least one block. But, I mean, honestly, they're not really practical in a real fight. I mean, they're practical if you're striking. They're not really practical for defending. That's just my personal opinion. You guys can go Google a nunchuck expert and ask him. He might feel the same way. He might not. As a martial artist, you only need to learn how to use a weapon to use it on someone. You don't have to master it to use it on someone. You just have to master enough of it so that you can keep getting your ass kicked or have the weapon taken from you. That's just my personal opinion. You don't have to take that. So, high center, high left, medium left, low left, high center, high right, medium right, low right. Alright? And then you have high medium left, low medium right, left, excuse me, high medium right, low medium right. Alright? And then you have high and center, high and center. And these are like for your karate blocks. So, you know, or you have your windshield wipers. So you can go double right or double left, which I just did in reverse, which this is double left and this is double right. But, you know, you have them. And then you have high center and low center, which you also can strike. You have high block and strike. The same thing you see me doing with these, you're going to see me do with those commas in a freaking couple of seconds. So, you know, you also have your blocks with your knees. So you can go medium right with knee, medium left with knee. You have to understand that the knee is basically a deterrent, so that if someone's throwing that mid-range kick or someone throwing that foot sweep, you'll be able to get that shit out of the way. So if they're throwing a foot sweep, you can block. Or if they're throwing a foot sweep, you can step back and block. You know, chobos are great, but chobos are also short-range weapons. Understand that. This is not a bow stab. This is short-range weapons. You have to get in. So I'm going to tell you, for Kempo and Kung Fu, I didn't learn this shit for karate, I learned it for Kempo. But I use Kung Fu, and you can use these in Kung Fu. So for Kempo, yeah, they're going to teach you this chop block on the inside. But for Kung Fu, I'm going to teach you when someone's swinging, you want to block to the outside and then chop block. Or you want to block to the outside with both, and then crack and then slide. Or if you crack it and then slide it, you still want to get to the outside. Because that way they have to work across themselves to get to you. So that means my arm's here, my enemy is right here. One stick here, one stick here, I have a broken arm. I understand that. These bitches are not soft. These damn things are solid wood, and they will fucking crush bone if done properly. Proper angle. If you're taking the Filipino martial art, which slightly resembles the chobos, they have bigger sticks. Their rods are thinner but longer. So, and I just learned about this a couple of weeks ago. I've never taken that one. But I'm good with what I got. But you can match them with Kempo. Yeah, you can match them. Boom. Boom. The forms are pretty much the fucking same. Except for they're like a little, they're a little bit higher, where Kempo is like your standard. You know, so you have this as a standard for your block and strike. Boom, that's a push block, and then you can strike. Or boom, and then you can strike. But one of these sticks is going to sit and protect your central line. And again, this shit here, you're not going to do that shit. And the reason why you're not going to do that shit is because whoever you're fighting ain't going to let you do it. Pure and simple. You get to fight, boom. That's how that shit's going to work. It's not going to be that. As you see, I dropped it trying to show off. That there, this double whirl shit. If you're practicing at home in your basement, yeah. All damn day. Now, of course, you're going to have to get used to that. But it's going to happen. Yeah, and you keep on doing it, you know. But eventually, if you train like that, you might try to fight like that, and you will get fucked up because your knuckles are going to get racked, your hand's going to get broken, you're going to be one arm down. And if they break your hand or slide up and break your elbow and then break you in the neck, fight's done. Why put yourself through that shit? Just remember, boom, boom, that's it. Boom, boom. Don't play with your opponent. Do not play with these. These are not toys, they are tools. Your skills, these bring out the extra. That's it. You don't need to do all the whirling and shit. Alright, so we're going to use these twice. We're going to use them right now as commas, and then we're going to use them as tonfas. Tonfas will be up here, commas will be here. With commas, you will never, under any circumstances, do that. Alright? Because the blades will cut your fucking hands to ribbons. Alright, so again, everything you just saw me do with the tonfas, the commas, god damn it, the fucking chobos, you're going to see me do with these commas. Because the form is pretty much the same fucking thing. High middle, low middle, center, the same shit. High right and medium right. High left, low medium, and then with the knee. Same shit on this side. At the same time, we're not going to go through all that shit. So we're going to work on your blocks and strikes. So that's a block and a strike because that's a blade. So you can block it and strike it at the same time, not like you can with the chobos. So here, that's a block and a strike. And then that's a gouge, which is another strike. So boom, 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 boom. Because these are close-quarter weapons, you will need them for close-quarters combat. Commas are not long-range weapons. You will never have a long-range comma. Unless you have a big, giant-ass Russian sickle, where that would be about like this big, and the thing would be here, the shift part, and then you would hold it up here, and it would work in unison. But for commas, they come in one size. They do make these a little bit smaller, but these are practice ones, so they're wooden, so you don't have to worry about injuring yourself. I only tape them with silver tape, so if I ever filmed outside at night, I can find these bitches. So that's pretty much the gist of it. So strike, 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 strike. Now you will never do that. Alright? I did it in a video earlier tonight, and I'm telling you now, this and this is okay. This, that, not okay. Because at any given time, the blade can slip. And let's keep it real. The fact that your opponent ain't going to give you time to do that. Now, this is for an upward slice. So, like, if you're slicing, if you're fighting with this style, okay, that's what this is for. So, strike, strike. This strike is basically like invisible blade. I don't know the actual Chinese name for it, but we're going to call it the invisible blade because you see this blade before you see this blade, because most people see things at eye level before they see shit at waist level. And unless you're short like me, you don't really look at people's waist level. I don't really have a choice because most people's waist level is right in my face. So if I'm fighting this way, proper hold the middle of the comma. So if I'm fighting this way, I can go shoom and foom, but you're probably going to see this before you see this, which means you're already bleeding before I even brought this down. But if you're a fighter like me, you may see this before you see this, so you may block it and push me down, which gives me no option but to bring that. But if you're fighting with these and I'm fighting with these, it's going to be a tight fight. And you have to kind of get in close to get commas to work. Alright, moving on. These commas are now going to be simulated tonfas. Alright, so tonfas, same concept apply with your blocks. High right, high left, medium right. Why are they crossed this way? Because I'm bringing a new style of blocking in versus what I did before, which is high left, medium left, low left, high left, medium left with knee, low left. Now this left is always farthest out. It is midnight, so I need to speed this up because it is shower time. But we're gonna keep going. Same thing that you just see me do there, you're gonna do here. But the thing with tonfas are also strike weapons. They are also close quarters combat. Now for me, I am against inside to outside, because you got a chance that you can break your own rib trying to defend yourself, and then there's that. Alright? Now outside to inside, it works better for me, might not work better for you, but here's your block, and then there's your turn. You see it turn off the elbow? So block and turn. So if I'm throwing a punch, and I can shift it. Understand? That's why I like this and then that versus this and then that. Now see, if I come up that way, I almost give myself a chin check. You don't want to knock yourself out with your own weapon, which is exactly why I said strike and then out versus strike and then in. Because in is dangerous, and it's probably just me because I'm short, but I'm going to keep it real. I'm not trying to hit myself, I'm trying to hit you. So when I throw that jab and I swing that damn thing around, it is meant to hit you. It is not hit and then go out because it may hit me. And granted, some people are better going from out to in or in to out. I'm better from going out to in. It works better for me. The flow feels better. And you should probably check that shit out. Now again, blocking. When you're throwing your block and someone's trying to kick, this protects your forearm. And real tonfas are kind of oblong. They're not like this. They're not like straight sticks. They're thicker and they're round. So when someone's throwing a kick and you just put a block down, it covers your whole base arm and your elbow. Now the downside of that is if they're really, really strong and they kick and you throw a strong, hard block, they might kick the tonfa and it might break your elbow. That's the one downside that I've left off. I figured I'd better go ahead and throw that shit in just in case, because I'm all about telling you guys 99.9. So if I don't tell you that, if you go ahead and get someone who knows what they're doing and you block and they kick your tonfa, it's a good chance that your tonfa will break your fucking arm. Alright? So now that we left that mystery off, you know, you're going to block and then strike, or you're going to block and then strike. But that's like if they're throwing a punch and you block, you pretty much probably don't want to have to do anything else because they're kicking wood. So you want to block it and then maybe strike, or maybe just see what happens. Because if they block, they kick that shit the wrong way and they hurt themselves, your fight's done. But if you want to finish them off, boom, boom. Yeah, you got to throw that shit out there as fast as possible. Same if you're throwing a jab, boom, boom. You're going to throw that thing around there, and you have to, because they're not going to give you a chance to not fight without them fighting. So you're going to need to be able to get that shit off. You throw a front jab this way with the tafa. See, my hand is straight. Go in and go out. Alright? Boom. That doesn't feel good to me. Boom. That does feel good to me. But that's just because that's how I was trained. Your training might be different, and if your training is different, please feel free to send me a message and show me a video or whatever. But, you know, also remember, you have high blocks. Your high blocks, I don't recommend you doing any one of these. Just keep your freaking tafa there, unless you like block and hit and then strike. Because those blocks here, they're going to be really, really tough to get back around. As you can see, when I block up here, there's a good chance that that's not going to work. There's a good chance that that's not going to work. There are a lot of downsides in all martial arts, especially when it comes to certain blocks, which is why I tell certain people, there's nothing useless in the martial arts, but there are some things that are not as useful. You know, like if you do karate and you know this block, you're here, boom, boom, then you retreat and recounter, restructure, whatever. You know, some of those blocks are great, and some of those blocks are utterly fucking not so great. Not going to say useless, they're just not so great, or better yet, they don't work for me. So, you have to understand that with weapons, it's the same concept. By the way, let me get these nunchucks back so I can show you at least a series of blocks with the nunchucks. Now, again, my training's different from everyone else's. But if before you swing a nunchuck, if you have to block, you're not going to block like this. Now, in the movies, they block swords like this. Okay, it's a movie. But most of your blocks are either going to be this way, or they're going to be this way. Alright? Now, there's going to be a lot of martial artists that's going to say, nah, James, you're full of shit, fuck that, you're wrong. Okay, well, you go out there and you fight somebody with nunchucks, and you let me know how that works out for you. Because I'm going to tell you what I was taught, and you're going to go with whatever the fuck you know. So, if you're going to block this way, boom, you have your central line of protection. So, boom, boom, that's your right and your left. Boom, boom, that's your left and your right for if you're going to go like a double. So if you're like blocking here and blocking there, that's that. Now if you're going to do the one-off shit, you know, the easier with the shit together, boom, 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 boom. That's it. Now, you don't have a whole lot of defense mechanisms with nunchucks, because nunchucks are better for striking. So you can boom and get that out, and you see how I'm standing, so that it flies behind me with my strike. If you don't stand so it flies behind you, it's going to hit you. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If you haven't been hit with nunchucks before, shut the fuck up. If you have been hit with nunchucks before, then you can agree or disagree or agree to disagree, because this shit here hurts. This shit hitting off a tree and coming back at you hurts. So if I'm fighting and you throw something and I block it this way and you don't agree with that, that's your opinion. But block, 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 those are your major blocks. This shit here, oh, Michelangelo, a fellow checker, eh? Yeah, movie shit. Alright? Movie shit. Understand, you have yay so many strikes, boom, that's a strike. You see how it hit me in the leg? I turned my leg that way for a fucking reason. You get hit solid right there, that shit hurts. So, when I strike, I'm going to make sure that I'm in a position where this bitch is going to go past me. Alright? So I don't have to absorb this motherfucker. Let's say I'm going from here and bringing it back. I need to make sure that my body knows what I'm going to do. Boom. So I got there and I'm bringing it back. Now, in one motion, boom, boom, I don't have to do that because I intend on doing that. There's just one itsy bitsy teeny weeny problem. If this hits somebody the first time, it's not going to be able to come back around because it's already in motion back at my ass. Now again, if you are a nunchucker and you don't agree with this shit, go out there and train against a tree a couple of times and let me know how that shit feels when that shit's flying back at you at liquidation speed that you can't resist or get out of the way. It doesn't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed, because it's the same thing. If I'm going to swing left, I'm going to make sure that my body goes to the outside of that shit. So if I hit something and I keep going, my body's not going to be the recipient of my own fucking nunchuck. If I'm going from here, boom, I'm going to step outward towards away from my strike versus stepping into my strike. Alright? And you see how I came back down? When I hit somebody, it's not going to do that. It's going to come back from the recoil of hitting someone. And if I don't have good wrist control, it's going to hit me too. That being said, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go get in the shower. Instagram, I hope that I taught you guys something. I hope you guys like and follow my shit on YouTube at Kung Fu Havoc #2. Anything you missed in about an hour or two or tomorrow, you can go look it up. I'm going to go jump my ass in the shower, wash my hair, and prepare for tomorrow. Anybody that I didn't wave at, let me do that now. Let me apologize to you. I hope that I taught you guys something. I don't want to teach you some shit that ain't going to work. Or if it's only going to work in the movies, I'll be sure to let you know. I know for a fact what I do has worked. But I don't recommend you doing that shit, because in a street fight, no one's going to give you the chance to do the shit that you think you're going to do. No one's going to let you do the shit that you see in the movies. No one's going to let you do the shit that you see in the UFC. It's not going to fucking happen. But that being said, thank you for watching. This is Kung Fu Havoc #2 and Instagram, BCNU, and BCNU.